Ladies and gentlemen, in the background over the past 6 months, I didn't really mention it on this YouTube channel that much. I've been working on something, and I've been working on becoming an EMT. And well, to say the least, it's official. Your boy, Renard Antonio Robinson, just dropped the government name right there. Yes, your boy is officially an EMT. Mama, we made it. But in this video, basically, I'm gonna tell y'all why I chose to become an EMT, the process of becoming an EMT, the experience, the journey, and you know, what to look forward to in the rest of my EMS career. So you may be wondering, why did you of all people become an EMT, Antonio? And let me explain. Now, if you guys are close to me, you probably do know my history. If you watch other videos on this channel, you know I do have a history of cancer back in the day, which is leading me to currently be pursuing a career in the medical field. Thinking of PA, potentially a physician itself. I don't know about medical school though, that's looking like a long time, a lot of investment. So I'm thinking, right now I'm leaning a little bit more toward the PA route. However, in order to get into medical school or PA school, one, you need previous healthcare experience, like patient care experience. So there's a couple options. You could like scribe for a doctor, like write their notes for them. You could become a CNA. So I was thinking, you know what? I think I want to be an EMT because my friend Garrett, he got me to do it. He's like, you know, EMT, you'll have more fun. You're going to be doing new things every day, which is pretty true. You'll be in new experiences, new scenarios, new exposure in healthcare every single day. So I'm like, all right, you know what? That's a good reason to get into it. Overall, you know, I feel like I'll be able to help more people as an EMT than I would in any other. This is on the road to becoming a physician or a physician assistant. En route, still I want to make a big impact, a big difference. So how am I going to be able to make a bigger difference? So I'm like, if I'm an EMT, as an EMT, I mean, I'll be transporting people, but I'll also probably be running 911 calls. So, you know, when someone's calling 911, it's a pretty serious issue. And, you know, I'm able to respond to it now. I'm trained to respond to it now, depending on this. So, yeah, I think that just being able to respond to those 911 calls, get onto the scene, help this person. I'm there, like I'm the first line of defense. I'm gonna get them to the hospital. I'm gonna keep them alive. I think that's literally changing lives, that alone itself. So, you know, along with that, I'm also gonna be meeting a lot of other people in the medical field. En route, I'm gonna be meeting a lot of physician assistants, a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses, you know, learn about them, learn how they like the job, you know, I get to meet with them, talk to them about patients and all types of stuff, whether I'm doing transports or responding or, bringing people to the hospital from a 911 call. And just overall, I get to meet different technicians and different stuff like that. A lot of people have different overall educational experiences and educational journeys in different parts of the healthcare system. So, you know, as an EMT, it's well diversified. That's what I was telling anyone else that wants to go to medical school or wants a job where they could get patient care hours. Like a lot of people have slid up on my story and asked about it. I got y'all. DM me. I can answer more questions about it, but at the end of the day, I also, one of the final reasons I chose EMT over any other pre-healthcare job is my boy Garrett. You know, at the end of the day, that's my dog. I was thinking me and you over the summer, because he comes here for the summer, the OG, you know, my boy for almost 15 years now, but he said over the summer, me and you, we're going to be hammering out calls, we're going to be making that bread, saving lives together. Just imagine us two in a truck, oh smoke. Anyways, I know you probably want to know, how do you become an EMT, which is what I'm about to go tell you right now. Call me a little teleportation real quick in 3, 2, 1. Now if you're watching this, I know you're probably wondering, what does it take to get a patch like this and become an EMT yourself? Well, the answer to that is, it varies from state to state. For example, I'm from Georgia. There's multiple ways you could do it, but basically you just gotta go through a training program. There's programs where you can do it as like a full-time job, Monday through Friday for like 6 weeks. They'll get you done in 6 weeks. I chose an online program. It took me I had up to 6 months to do it in this online program. I finished all my units. I did 42 units of different things. You know, you have like pediatric emergencies, geriatric emergencies, cardiac issues, neurological issues. Just, it covers everything. How to move patients, vocabulary, just everything. All the medical stuff you need to learn. You learn that in your course. Mine was online. If you're in the in-person one, I'm sure you'll learn it in the in-person course. But when you finish your online learning, there is in-person skills days, which is what I had. The in-person skills days, I actually did enjoy those. We have a trauma day where you learn your trauma skills, skills you would need to use on a trauma call. For example, putting on a C-spine collar. If someone has like a fall or they like have a potential final injury. That's when you put on a C color. That's some stuff you learn on a trauma day. Medical day, you learn stuff like clearing the airway, learn how to like administer, take a blood glucose test or take a blood pressure. All that stuff is what you're learning. You learned it online, but you only saw it like in a video, but this is where you're learning it hands-on. You're putting your hands on other people, you're putting on their blood pressure cuff, you're checking your lung sounds, you're doing all this stuff. You're putting on C colors on the mannequins, learning how to size them up. You're learning how to lift the backboard, you're learning how to carry patients, you're learning how to work as a team with other people. Those are in-person skills days. Those days for us was only 2 days, basically like a 9 to 5, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. One for trauma, one for medical, and we had our skills testing where you had 3 scenarios total. You had a trauma, you had a medical, and you had a pediatric. So pediatrics, they're slightly, like pediatrics are basically children, they're ages 0 to 17. In the pediatric cases, you have to, a lot of the times, you have to treat the pediatric differently than you'd have to treat an adult. Different amounts of medication administered or different interventions used in those, but in those skills testing, they'll have like a mannequin laying down or like sitting in a chair. They'll give you their symptoms, and from there you'd have to question them, learn their history. You'd have to question them, which is your test operator. You'd question them, learn their medical history, learn what led up to it, learn if they have any contraindications to your idea of treatment. You have to say what your treatment would be and show how you give them your treatment. Then there was also the oral board. So after you do the skills day, the oral board, it's kind of simple. It's basically just online with like the medical director, and you're gonna so it's just like medical director, and you're basically just gonna tell them, they're gonna give you a scenario, and you're gonna just completely verbally tell them the thing, except if you like exact, like if you like, I'm gonna give them this much nitroglycerin, I'm gonna give them this much oral glucose and stuff like that. So you have to be specific. You have to say why you're gonna do it, the contraindications, why you wouldn't do certain treatments, all that stuff. But after all that, you take I took the final exam. That was when it was time for my clinicals. Every state, a lot of states require you to have clinicals or your like ride-alongs on an actual ambulance. So you have to actually treat a certain amount of patients or transport a certain amount of patients with their EMT or paramedic that you're paired up with. For me, I had to do 48 hours of clinicals. I had to get 5 geriatric patients, which are patients above 65, to get 5 adult patients at least, and I had to get 2 pediatric patients, and also I had to get 20 patients total. The other 8 patients didn't matter what they were. But yeah, during my clinical ride-alongs, it was actually a really eye-opening experience for me, just hearing the EMTs and paramedics talk about certain conditions and why these patients were presenting this way based on like their history that they gave us or like their other medical history that they had told us. It was really, it just helped me understand the process of EMS. You really become a medical detective. Like you could look around the patient's house if you're dispatched to their house on a 911 call, and you could pick up things around them, around your surroundings, and make decisions and learn more. Along with what they're telling you about their medical history, you're like really a detective. You're a medical detective. Like you're not like a crime scene detective. You're a medical detective, and you're really determining what's wrong with this patient. You're the first line of defense. You're going to be determining what's wrong with them and most likely why, and you're going to be reporting that back to the hospital if you're on a 911 call and you're taking them to a hospital, or if you're transporting them. You know, you're transporting them from a hospital to like a different hospital for a specialty. Like let's say you're going from like a normal hospital to a hospital for a special cardiologist. During that transport, you know, we were talking. They showed me how you talk to the patients, learn about their medical history, how they ended up in the hospital in the first place. From their 911 call. So next time, if you're ever presented with those symptoms of that patient that you're just transporting, you know, oh, I've transported a patient, maybe not a 911 call, but just on a normal transport from this hospital to this hospital, and they got into the hospital because of these same symptoms. So it gives you an eye, look out for this. Maybe this is what this patient has. And you know, it's really just eye-opening. And of course, I learned so much during that time, and I can't wait to get back on the ambulance from doing transports to 911 calls because I'm ready to learn a lot more. If those 48 hours taught me that much, by the end of this, however many years I've been doing this, I'm gonna know so much further out from now, you know what I mean? Now, after all of that, that's where the National Registry comes in. Now, the National Registry is a national EMT exam. It's at an actual testing center, like one of those straight Pearson testing centers, and it's apparently, from what I've heard, this will be the hardest test you'll take in your life. And the reason it's such a hard test, it is an adaptive test. So basically, if you get the question right, your next question will be harder. If you get the question wrong, your next question will be easier. So it really matches your skill level. So the whole time, no matter if you're the smartest guy on earth or if you're the dumbest guy down the street, you're gonna think the test is hard. it matches your level of skill. And even like if you just get everything right, even if you're and it really is just trying to see, do you meet the standards that we require to like operate as an EMT. So for me, my friend that he was taking it, he's like, I was taking this test, and then the questions, I'm like some of them I'm getting right, but I'm like, are these like easy questions, or am I just getting easy questions, or do I just know the knowledge I need to know like that? So for me during the test, I was stressing a little bit because everybody stresses apparently. And the other crazy thing is too, your stops you at 70, you have to do a minimum of 70 questions, but up to 120 questions. So I got stopped immediately at 70 questions. So when you get stopped immediately at 70 questions, that means that you either did really good and you actually passed it, or it means you did terribly bad and you just completely failed it. Because basically, once it stops you, it knows for certain, within 95% certainty, whether you're qualified to be an EMT or not. So when it stopped me at 70, I was like, I think I'm qualified, but I wasn't sure, you know what I mean? Because the test is so, like, the way the test is made, it makes you second guess yourself and be like, maybe I'm not all in this. But at the end of the day, I passed it first try, stopped at 70, so that means that they knew when I got to 70 questions, this guy got his stuff down. He's qualified. So after that, got fingerprinted, turned in some paperwork, and your boy officially became an EMT. Well guys, I hope my EMT career is like this. It's like a match to a flame. And it's gonna start, you know, just start something big for me, you know what I mean? Start from something small, go to something big, and just be a life-changing thing in my life. I already know the lore I'm gonna develop along the way. It's gonna be crazy, and yeah, so. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we have a fire going right here. Just burning some old paperwork from last semester. And the thing is, last semester, I was super busy because not only was I doing my EMT program, I was still doing 16 hours worth of classes. And I had 3 laboratories. If you guys have been in college and you've taken a science lab, you know how challenging those could be. But I had 16 hours worth of courses, 3 of those were labs, along with my EMT, along with working a part-time job, and I just doing my other hustles, doing YouTube as well. That's why I haven't been able to put out as many new vlogs lately, because I've been so busy on the schoolwork, as you guys can see. All this is just like old work that I'm not going to be using anymore from last semester, but just old assignments. All this is just stuff I've been doing this semester, so that's why the vlogs haven't been able to be that original or just, you know, the usual Antonio Robinson spark to it, because I've been busy. I was locked in. But now that I finished EMT programming, or the EMT schooling, I'm basically working as a part-time job, and I'll have my normal semester next semester. I'm about to be back, bro. We're so back. YouTube channel will be cooking. This boy's heating up. It's nice. It's a cold day outside. It's like 20 something degrees, so you know what I mean. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, if I've been moving in silence, yeah, I'm officially an EMT now. All that's left is I just put in some job applications, so hopefully by the end of the year, which is like literally like a couple days from now, 7 days, a week from now, hopefully I have a job, and just started next year, I'm driving around ambulances, making a difference in the world, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's about it for this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. If you have any questions about becoming an EMT, or have any stories yourself, just let me know, I'm sure. But yeah, that's about it. Catch you guys in the next one.